Hey man, welcome back to another session, man, of Couples Connect with Kevin and
Tanya.
yeah. So we just talking about marriage, man, and we want to talk about marriage ups and downs. We want to talk about finances. We want to talk about mindset. This is what we talk about here at Couples Connect, man. And we bring on amazing couples that we can connect with. We can talk about all those things and just kind of share our journey through this thing called marriage because it's tough. Yeah, it's hard.
Marriage be hard.
It do be hard, man. So, and we've experienced a lot of things, ups and downs, right? Wins and losses, and I think a lot of couples suffer in silence. So we want to bring some couples on where we can be transparent and open and talk about some of the things that we all go through, right? So, and today, man, I'm so excited, man. We had this amazing couple who was not just friends, man. They like family to us, and we just love every time we're in their presence. And we got today an amazing family that we call family, man. Mr. Christopher and his wife Rochelle Barney, man. So we excited for these. So man, how y'all doing, man? How's your team? Yeah, good. Good deal. Yeah, man. So it's always good when we see y'all, man. And I think the last time we actually had an amazing conversation, we talked about the journey that you guys were on, and it was just so powerful. And we felt like maybe we wanted to kind of bring you guys on because at the time we didn't have a podcast. We just was just doing a live open book, forum where we just, which was totally cool because in your story, man, you guys' story actually touched a lot of people even at that moment who was actually live on that stream listening and kind of, hearing your story for the first time. And we felt like, man, we really want to, try to open that up to a larger audience and really continue. Wife and I, we're starting a series that's kind of connected to the idea of the couples who go through sickness and health and how they overcome that and how they deal with that. And we just love your story, so we want to bring you guys on and kind of share that with us. But we can't get to that without starting from the beginning, right? How it all started, right? How we met you guys. So you want to tell me a little bit how we moved here to Dallas, and we're from Louisiana, and then we moved here to Texas, and what happened after that? Well,
Yeah, so we met them actually through your sister.
Yeah.
Your sister and her husband Byron was our first friends.
Shout out Shannon and Byron. We see y'all there.
Yeah. Our first friends here in Dallas. We were neighbors. First floor, right across from each other.
Wow.
That was so cool. And then we got introduced to you guys and then to your mom.
Miss Diane.
Yes.
And then the whole family, brother. And that's really how we met. And that was 24 years ago.
Wow.
22, something like that.
Yeah.
That we met everybody.
That was my 24. As soon as we got married, we moved here. Yeah.
Yeah,
She was 24. What a baby.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 24 years.
Wow.
So you guys were literally like our first friends here in Dallas. That's crazy because we've been here. First family, right? So it's been a long time, man. But
I will eat some macaroni and cheese. You can too.
And I had macaroni and cheese since we probably told you that.
No, stop.
Make sure you get on there about macaroni and cheese. Yeah.
Right.
Well, man, but we know you guys. We know you guys. We love you guys, man. We've been together, like I said, for 24 years. But everybody else may not know your story about how you guys met. And you got kids. So tell people a little bit about you guys, man. Tell about Team Barney.
Well, we met at church,
The church.
the Potter's House Church,
Oh,
Okay.
in Dallas.
Okay.
And there's going to be two versions of the story.
It's always two versions.
I'll share my version.
Okay, give me your version, Chris.
My version is we were having a fashion show at the church for the
Yeah.
kids,
Okay.
and she wanted me to use my radio voice to present, ladies and gentlemen, coming down the aisle right now. You know what I'm saying? So she wanted me to use that.
Right.
Got my number, gave me a call one time to let me know that. It's like, okay, cool. The event never took place. but she had my number.
They got kids.
Okay, it got canceled, but she never told me it got canceled.
Oh.
So I'm still reaching out, hey, what's going on? What's going on? But she, again, never told me that it got canceled. Fast forward, we're at a dinner. There was someone there asking them a billion questions. Meanwhile,
About marriage.
About marriage. I was in my prayer closet. Truly.
Yeah.
I would literally go in my apartment, one bedroom apartment, open the closet, going to where the trash can was at, and I would be praying. Praying for my wife, praying for myself, praying for my family.
Praying for your future wife.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
Doing my part.
Mm-hmm.
Getting myself prepared, getting myself ready, at least trying to.
Yeah.
Her image just kept coming up in my mind.
Mm.
As I was praying, listening, hands, worshiping, and stuff, there we go. And from that, I said, okay, I'm not seeing her. I'm here to talk to you, God. So in the midst of that, still doing the same thing, and she would come into my frame of view as I'm thinking I'm talking to God, and she became translucent, where I could still see God through her. It's like, okay. When I woke up from that moment, I was like, okay, yes, that's got to be the Lord.
Wow.
Because I'm praying, I'm talking to God, and you're showing me this young lady, and she's not blocking my view. So from that, fast forward, we're at the dinner, someone's asking a billion questions, and at that time, I was like, that's it. Oh, God, that's it. Dinner was over. I said, here goes my, I got your number. I said, no, you have my number now. Is it all right if I take you about to the movies? Matter of fact, it was Shannon Bob going to the movies. What was it? That's me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Another
So
yeah.
Right.
Here's the go. And then quickly, I said, I'm running late. She said, okay, don't worry about it. I got your ticket. As a man, I said, oh, you're willing to pay, even though you don't have to.
Right.
Cool. This is another notch.
Yeah.
She was digging you too, though.
Obviously.
I always see Chris.
But that's
already prepared.
that's a small version of it,
Yeah.
more details. But that was me.
That is exactly how we met. That is exactly how we met.
Story about you wanting to.
Right. So there was a fashion show that we were having. I didn't find out till the last minute that it was canceled. From my mom and one of her coworkers that they were doing a hair show. And then I didn't find out till the last minute that it was canceled. So when he asked me, I was like, oh yeah, it's been canceled. I wasn't trying to hold out, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, I did want to use this voice to be the MC of the fashion show. Yeah.
But were you digging them a little bit at the same time, maybe just a little bit, or now it was just all just straight?
It was really just straight. Hey, we're doing. Yeah, it was all business. All business. Because my sister was the one who told me. She's like, "Shell, that's your husband," and I was like, "No, it's not."
Shannon?
Yeah,
Really?
Shannon. Yeah, because she came to church. She's like, "Shell, that's your husband," and I'm like, "It's not." It's not. She was like, "No, it is," and I'm like, but if I could go back for years ago when I started praying for my husband, this is why I say I was prepared while he was still praying. Because I started praying for my husband when I was 10.
Wow.
Right? And then probably about 16, I was in my room and I was like, fine, God, if you just tell me his name, tell me his last name, and I won't bug you anymore. And he was like, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. And I said, no, if you tell me, I'm going to believe you.
Right.
Now, mind you, I'm like 16. And so he was like, okay, his last name is Barney. I said, what? Barney?
Right.
Right. This is at the age of 16. I did not get married till I was 29. Did not meet him till I was, 27?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and he was like, his name's Barney. I was like, what? Barney? I don't know. His name's going to be Wilkins. And I just loved it at that. Yeah, I don't even know where that came from. So, and I'm like, no, his name's going to be Wilkins. And I just left it at that and never even thought about it again. Didn't even know his last name when my sister was telling me. It wasn't until the day we got married, probably maybe a little bit after that the Holy Spirit brought that back to my remembrance.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, because the whole time I was not, trust me, I was not looking for nobody named Barney. So when the Holy Spirit brought it back to my remembrance, it was really shocking to me because we got married June 23rd, 2001 at 4:00 p.m. Oh, prior to that, the Holy Spirit told me also, because I was praying for a football player. I wanted to be big. I wanted to be at football games, like, But Landon told his story, you know, he was headed that way, but God had other plans, like he told him. But anyway, so we were, so I was praying for football, but I remember that when we got married, and we got married June 23rd, 2001 at 4:00 p.m. But prior to that, God told me that he was training my husband to be a minister of the gospel. And I was like, I don't want to marry a preacher. I want to marry a football player. So anyway, so speed up, we got married. And then when we were dating, my husband was going through the ministerial class. Still wasn't ringing the bell, right? So we go to his graduation. His marriage license was signed on June 23rd, 2001 at 4:00 p.m. His ministerial license, no, not a marriage license, but his ministerial license. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm starting to put two and two together, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And his last name is Barney. I'm like, oh my goodness. No, just strictly from there. But yeah, when I tell you, yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I cannot tell a story or talk about anything without putting God first, because that is the center, the foundation.
Yeah.
And from there, it's been a journey.
True.
Yeah. So how long now married and any kids?
We have 4.
4 children, 23 years in June.
23 years.
Yeah.
23 in June. 4 children. 21, yeah. 21-year-old. One will be 20 the end of this month, and a set of twins that are 15.
That was a beautiful thing, man. When y'all, because we had
Right.
twins, and y'all had twins, that was kind of a cool little
Yeah, connection. Boy-girl twins, yeah.
boy and girl twins, right? That's
Yeah.
amazing. So the twins are about to
They're
wait
15.
15.
15 now. So you got 16 this year.
Yeah, 16 in January, so they'll be sophomores.
Yeah, they just turned 15.
It just went.
Yeah, just turned 15.
Wow, awesome. So tell me this. So in that whole journey, like, well, the dating part of it, when you didn't really realize that, okay, this may be my husband, right? Did you ever feel like, do you feel like there was anything that he was doing that was still kind of attractive? When did you feel like the attraction came to Chris? Because you said in the beginning, with
Right,
I need your voice, I
yeah.
need your voice.
Right.
But when did that connection of the attraction happen between you and Chris?
I believe, like, when we went to the movies. So when we're going to the movies to see The Best Man, it was me, my sister, her husband, and then her sister-in-law. And he was running late. I don't like to run late.
Oh, me.
But he was running late. So I'm like, you know what, this dude's running late. I'm just going to go ahead and get the ticket. And my brother-in-law was like, we can just go get our seats. And my brother-in-law was like, no, I'm going to wait for him. And I was like, okay, well, I'll buy the ticket. I'm going to get the ticket. You just hand the ticket and we'll go get our seats. And so we went to the movies. So then after we came back from the movies, then he invited me out to New Year's service in downtown Dallas. No, mind you, this is November when he gave me his number. And then New Year's was like, we went to the movies, that next weekend? And then New Year's was like a month later.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're going out to New Year's service, because we always go out and we used to meet our friends. We had other couples. It was like 3 other couples. That on New Year's service, we would go out to dinner, and then we would all get up and go to the New Year's service together. And then so we went to the New Year's service, and everything was great. We were leaving. We're getting home. He's dropping me off at my mom's house. And he was like, I'm not asking you to be my wife, because I don't have a ring. But my intentions are honorable, and I'm going to make you my wife. And I was like, no. Just like that, right? That's what I said. I'm like, no. And then just from there.
Now, did he know about, you knew because now I knew his last name.
I didn't even, none of that dawned on me until we got married.
Oh.
So the reason why I knew is because, I don't know, I just knew. Like there was this guy prior to, and he was so funny, my mom. He was calling me. He called me on my phone, and I'm like, because we all worked in the youth group together, and so he called me on my phone, and he was like, "Man, you're my wife," and I'm like, "No, no, I am not." And he was like, "No, yeah, you're my wife," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And so he was like, "I'm gonna ask you right now." I was like, "Don't," and I was like, "Oh my God." I went down my mom, Mom, I can't breathe. I was like, "That's hyperventilating." And she was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "This dude's about to ask me his wife, and I don't want to hurt his feelings." And she was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So, and then I get back on the phone, and he's like, "No." I'm like, he's like really bold with it. He's like, "No, I'm just gonna ask you right now." And I said this. I said, "No, I don't feel the anointing right now." I don't feel the anointing right now. He's like, "What?" I said, "I know. I think we should hang up." And then we hang up the phone and he gets married a month later. So I have no idea.
Well, he just wanted to be married.
I don't know, probably. But I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what? Your wife?
Yeah.
You were gonna fight for me? No, I didn't say that. I did not, because he was not. But anyway, but yeah, so I knew that I just knew. I knew. And I've been praying for my husband for years. And so when he said that, I knew, because that was one time, and I had this other guy was like, when I lived in Colorado, he had a crush on me, and he was like, I'm like, "Victor, you're not the one." I'm like, "No, you're not." And so, just building up, but I knew that when he came to me and I met him, I was gonna know that it was him. And so so when he told me that in the car, and the same thing that he had, the feeling that I was feeling, I felt with this guy in Colorado, I'm like, "Dude, about to ask me to marry him." And I'd be like, "No." I'm like, "How am I going to tell him no, that he's not the one?" But when Chris was saying it and we were in the car, I was like, "This dude about to be like, you about to be my wife." And I was like, "You know what?" But I felt okay with that one, And so then I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Oh, so I'm not asking you to be my wife right now, but I'm telling you, this is where what's going down to." And so I was like, "Okay." And and he was the first guy that I dated when I was here in Dallas, and I was here 4 years prior to me dating anyone and I was, working at the Potter's House and everything, but he was the first guy I dated and married.
Wow. This game right there. But it's seldom you find that I know of a man and a woman who were just single, who are both praying, especially at a young age.
Yeah.
For their spouse, for their marriage. So definitely, you guys felt like this is God right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me this: because God has ordained your marriage, do you feel that because God is like he like to, when it's Him, He put testing out there for people to kind of go through things, because on the back end, He wants people to realize that this is me, right? This is I put this together, but at the end I give the glory.
Right.
Is there anything that you guys felt that you ever went through that God got the glory in on the back end?
I would say what we did do is we went to one of the pastors at the church that we knew, and prior to even going, we were going for Kent.
Yeah.
And in the midst, we both had agreed whatever the man of God says is what we'll do.
Before we're engaged.
Yes. To make sure that we were hearing correctly and not hearing from the flesh.
Yeah.
And that's a serious thing. So from that, we had gone to him and he said, "Well, what you need to do is you all haven't even dated long enough. Take some more time, date, get to know each other, and then come back."
6 more months.
Yeah. We came back about 9 months later. He said, "Oh, I thought you all had broken up because you never came back." I said, No, we did what you said do.
Right.
We tried to get to know each other. Spend some time, find out what she likes, what she doesn't like. So from that, he's like, "Okay, you all are doing it right."
Yeah.
In the midst of that, I think there was some times where it was like, I think I may have given her a kiss. And then we both got, "Oh, can't do that." Because we still wanted to make sure we found God in the midst of it. So we'd only hold hands. And whenever we would go out, we would always go with other couples. So that we wouldn't be alone. And then that temptational thing try to creep his head up. Like, "No, I don't want to do that." Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, when I present my body, I'm going to present my body without blemish. that I didn't stop. So she will become my body, flesh to flesh.
Yes.
So in the midst of that, I'm presenting my body to Christ. So I want to make sure that it's not tampered and touched on by me
Yeah.
to present my body to Christ. That was my thinking.
So the kiss came at what point of the dating?
It might have been maybe 4 or 5 months or something. You know, it wasn't the French kiss type. It was just a simple pet.
Yeah.
And for me, I can't speak for her, but for me, I was like, oh, I can do that. Because I recognize something trying to rise up that I don't want to blemish my body as I present it to God.
Wow.
You know, so.
So what you're telling us is that you guys saved yourself for marriage.
Yes.
You were too fast.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
He said no. We definitely
We
did.
supposed to pass it off.
He said we did.
We did not have that conversation.
No, she said we did not.
But so did y'all, was that hard? I mean, I would assume that it was hard. So y'all abstained until y'all got married?
Yes.
Yes.
Really? How long was that courting, dating till marriage?
Maybe a year.
Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
Me.
Really?
That's good. And y'all, not that you're not young now, but back then you were like in your early 20s,
Late 20s.
late 20s.
Yeah.
And sustaining. It's awesome. That's
Wow.
Yeah, like he said, we would go out and we would get together. Then we would have like couples, like yeah, we had like some friends that would always we call them our accountability partners.
Yeah.
So like if we were going to be alone together or whatever, and then even when we were alone together, there's times that I went up to your house after church and stuff. You made dinner or whatever, but we just knew that we did not want to have sex or anything before marriage. So that's just an agreement that we came up to and we made. Even the kissing.
Yeah. Did we know that? That's I don't know if we ever knew that. That's very interesting. Kudos to you, brother, because I'm like, man, I don't know any brothers who can just, you know what I'm saying?
Well, just say, no kids.
Not even kids, I mean, to hold out that long, but not even just to hold out that long, but to want to hold out that long, right? And the reason behind it was to honor God. And this woman, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yes. That's I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Let me speak for me. That's the key for me.
Yeah.
To honor God in everything that I was trying to do. You know, so as I'm in my closet, I'm praying, you know, God give me strength to be the man that she wants me to be. Let me be the man as much as let me be the father, the husband that I need to be. God. And I command it. I'm speaking all of that. So it would be counterintuitive for me to get with her and then start feeling and hugging and rubbing and taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
Because I'm praying all of this over here.
Right.
It just wouldn't have made sense, you know.
Yeah.
For me, I believe God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not to say anybody else doesn't believe God. And we all stumble, we all fall.
For sure.
But for me, in that moment, it's like, okay.
But you valued her very early on.
Yes.
Very early on, you saw the value in her. And you were like, I am not going to devalue her by whatever, you know. So that's...
Yeah. So how early did your walk with Christ start? Because I mean, you guys were both in your 20s at that time, right? In my 20s, man, I mean, that's some crazy strength.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't something that you had to use a lot of strength for. Maybe it was just the fact that your connection with God was so strong.
Yeah.
To where that's what you wanted. You're convicted to obey God more than anything.
Right.
So when did your journey with Christ start? Because you was already 20, so I'm assuming
18.
18.
At 18,
Yeah.
I was at the Missionary Baptist Church back in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm trying to see it. You know, up in the balcony.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing and playing like most kids do, teens, with my friends at the time. And I heard God say, Christopher. Audible, just like we're talking right now.
Yeah.
Christopher. And I was like, did y'all hear that? Is that name you talking about? I turned back around, laughing, playing, Christopher. And I turned over, immediately, I knew it was him.
Mm.
Tears began to just come down, began to just weep and weep. You know, can I say the ninja word? Is that all right?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
No. You sure?
My friends like, nigga, what's wrong with you? For real.
Right.
You know, I said, y'all didn't hear that? No. Got up from my seat, went down from the balcony, straight to the altar
Mm.
to get my life to place.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's funny because he was 18. Remember when I told my story, I was 16. We're 3 years apart.
3 years apart.
Yeah, so we're 3 years apart. So he was 18 when God called him his name and he walked down to give his life to Christ. And I was 16 at home in my bed praying for my husband.
Mm. Yeah. Isn't that amazing, man?
It really is.
So when we started dating, some of the stuff I had to just shut up on because I'm like, this dude is really gonna think I'm crazy. And he's gonna be like, this girl's cuckoo, but I am not marrying her. So a lot of stuff like that he was saying, like I would not even share with him. Like that he would say, and I'm like, oh, you know, I might just be my
So my man,
Yes.
that's will be additional confirmation.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And then he was saying when I was like praying for the Lord, I want to marry a football player, and he's saying, but I was a top football player in my high school.
Yeah.
I was headed to the pros.
Yeah, right,
You were
right.
specific enough.
Yeah. Right. But I need a professional.
You just said it to me.
Oh, man.
Because you
You absolutely correct. Yeah.
Hey, you got any more specific in your friend?
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
yeah, so yeah, it just amazes me. Like when he tells his story and then I listen, I'm like, wow, God.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, 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 is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
He really is.
You know, it's crazy, man, because you see God put you guys together.
Yeah.
Tanya and I feel the same way. Right?
Yeah.
Our story a little bit different. New Orleans, right? Unwavering. Louisiana both was she in New Orleans, unwavering, right? And because of everything that we've gone through in the 24 years of marriage, we knew early on, like from where she come from and where I come from, only God can bring those two worlds together.
Really?
Right? So it's like, man, it was definitely ordained by God for sure to be together.
Wow.
And then everything that we went through, when we say that we're still going on, we're still in this thing, because when God put the seal on him, and it's his doing,
Yeah.
right? That no man breaks apart.
Right.
No man can break us
He said,
apart.
what God is joined together, let no man put his son there. Come
You know what
on.
I'm saying, man? And that's where,
Regardless. Yeah.
and that's just for us, every year that we continue to go on is more and more confirmation that, man, God has just got us, right? And that's
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. So doing that journey, everything's been good. Got kids, got this and that. But at some point, with Tanya and I know, but the listeners,
Right.
something happened that just kind of shook the old. That was crazy,
Yeah.
right? Unexpected, obviously. Something you would just dread to hear. Your story, right? Tell the people about how things began from going to being with this woman you love. You know, at that point you had kids, right? And then all of a sudden something happens.
Yeah.
What happened?
Still at that hard moment, work for the bank.
Yeah.
You know, in the midst of work for the bank as a bank officer there, and brought the bank from 122 banks that they had and brought it to the number 2 bank in the midst of everything going on. But I didn't know what was going on. But my legs and stuff began to sweat. Having some type of sickness, didn't know what was going on. I was having, went to 2 doctors here in the Grand Prairie area. Both diagnosed the wrong thing. It's like, maybe it's, what do they call it? Something to with the veins, vascular. They were saying there might be some. Okay, so went to one doctor. He told me that's what. Went to this doctor. He says, no, it's not that. It's something else. I was like, okay, well, we don't know what it is.
Put these compression socks on.
Yeah, let's try this. So in the midst of trying that, I ended up losing my job at the bank. You know, so I'm thinking, what's happening here? Still not dawning on me, of course, that I'm about to go through a portion of what we say in the marriage vows. till death do us part, for sickness. The sickness. In going through, went to the doctors. This is not it. This is not it. Tried this compression side. We did that. In the midst of doing that, it got worse. It went from my ankles to my calves, into my knees, into my thighs. From that, it went to the groin area. At this point, I'm saying we need to do something. We got to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
To find out what's happening, what's going on. While there, the doctor, Tanya, said, let me do a biopsy and just take a look to see something. So he did that. We're at Parkland. Because remember, I lost my job.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of that, coming home, getting dressed, and I would come home sometimes, and I had to drive around the block because I'm thinking, okay, I want to go in here and tell her that I didn't find a job. I mean, I'm fishing, I ain't catching nothing. Because we got this house, we have 4 kids at this point, you know, so it's like, okay, what's happening, what's going on? Savings is dwindling. I'm there, we do the biopsy, come to find out it's nephrotic syndrome. My body is beginning to attack the kidneys. I don't know why. The doctors don't know why. Because that was definitely a question. What's going on? Why? Well, we don't know. It's something that happens with black men. What's that supposed to mean?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Are you racist?
Right.
But just that. It was just nephrotic syndrome. My body, for whatever reason, just started to attack the kidneys. And just went down from there. In the midst of going down, again, didn't have the job. So the doctor was able to give me some, I think it's called support, this medication. Just trying something to see if he could jumpstart the kidneys in the midst of doing that. It got to the point where I couldn't afford the pills anymore. So now I'm beginning to ration the pills for myself. Okay, let me do this and this. Oh, I cut this one in half as well. Going through that process, trying to figure it out. Just got worse. We decided to go to Indiana with my family for vacation. Drove there, 16-hour drive. Got there. The next day, it was one of those. You have to start off with extreme headaches. Like, what's happening? We go to, my brother's a police officer. We go to the fire department. Get me checked out. The fire people say, you need to take him to the hospital right now.
Do not even stop by the house. Go directly to the hospital. And the only reason why we're letting you take him is because you're a cop.
Yeah.
And you ain't got to stop at the light.
Oh, wow.
With the sirens on and get going.
Yeah.
But they stop at the house.
Yeah. So from that, got there and I'm in Indianapolis, St. Vincent Hospital, and my creatinine level has jumped to like 17. The average of normal person should be 0.25.
But your blood pressure, you didn't tell them how your blood pressure was when you got to the fire department.
It was
220.
No, I think 244 over 200 and something.
Mm-hmm.
I should have had a stroke.
Yeah.
True, I should have had a stroke.
Wow.
You know. And we're in Indianapolis. Prior to that, here in Texas, similar thing happened. I was at work. I finally got a job. Finally got a job at the church. Finally got a job at the church because the pastor who did the counseling for us said, have you talked to him? Hey, we're having it rough right now. He said, put your application in at the church. Okay. They end up calling, get the job. I'm there at the job, and I'm about to eat a Earl's Campbell sausage. You know, take off. But that's what he wasn't. Yeah, wasn't thinking of nothing like that. I like Earl's Campbell sausage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I literally bit into it. As soon as I bit into it, my headache just went crazy. I told my boss, "Hey, I need to go home. I gotta go home."
Yeah.
Go home. I get home, turn all the lights off. I'm laying on the couch, and I am feeling horrible. Her mom calls prior to her passing, prophetess.
Yeah.
She calls and she says, "What's wrong?" Nothing. I hadn't called Michelle. I hadn't talked to her. I just came straight home.
Yeah.
She said, "What's wrong?" Nothing. What are you talking about? I got a headache and stuff. She said, "Go check your blood pressure." I said, "Yes, ma'am." Hang up the phone. Her dad's at the door, dying to come over and take you to the hospital. That's crazy.
Right.
At that point, it was like 220 over 200 or something like that. I go to the hospital. They're telling me the same thing, so they take me in. They give me some type of medication to drastically bring the blood pressure down. From that, after that, that's when we went to Indianapolis. But let me say this, I'm in the hospital here. My kids come see me, my knuckles are just swollen, look like the Hulk. Zion, my son, he says, "Dad, can you still spank us?" You know what I'm saying? "Can you still spank us?" Yeah, well, what do you think? Great. Because I'm in the hospital,
Right.
something they've never seen.
Right.
Something they've never seen, but that's what he's worried about. That's what he's complaining about. So, Indianapolis, get there, headache, go to the doctors there. The creatinine level's crazy. Ultimately, what's happening is I'm dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening.
Absolutely.
Things are shutting down. I'm regurgitating, can't keep anything down. Water I'm assuming at this point everybody's praying because I'm trying to pray while still trying to focus on what's going on, what's happening. They take me back. I end up staying there 6 days.
The whole vacation.
Yeah, the whole vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, it only get down to like 14. They said, how did you get here? I drove, and you can't drive back. We can't let you go unless my brother, police officer, he said, well, I'll drive him back. I'll take him. Drops us here, we fly him back. While I'm here, same thing happens.
Because we know when he gets a headache, that's the trigger.
Yeah.
That whenever he says my head's starting to hurt, it's like immediately you got to go to the emergency room because it's just going to go downhill from there.
And saying that, when you said that you told your boss that you had a headache and you could go home,
Yeah.
why did you think to go to the
Hospital.
hospital?
That's the first thing. You're
Right.
like,
Let's go on the way down.
it's just a headache. Yes, it's painful, excruciating pain, but I've always had those. But I never had anything to attribute it to. I shouldn't be here. In the midst of that, finally get back down, still room. I think she might have showed her at that point. And I'm talking to Dr. Mohar. Hey, what's going on? Your kidneys are failing. They're not working anymore. That's what's happening. The only thing that's going to save you, young man, is you have to be on dialysis. So I'm setting up the appointment. You'll be going on Thursday, Tuesday or Thursday when you leave here.
Yeah.
This is my wife.
Right.
That time comes. I go to the meetings necessary for to get an understanding on what's going on. Am I going to get the fistula in my arm? Am I going to do peritoneal? Peritoneal is when they do it into your stomach and you don't have the things in your arms. I'm contemplating what to do, how to do. And while I'm there, getting it done in my chest, at the center, I look over and there's a lady there. She's got one in her arm. That arm is swollen, huge. The other arm is just normal size. So I just said, hey, how's it going? She's, I'm good, baby. She's holding her Bible. I'm good, baby. Yeah, you probably don't want to get the fistula. I didn't even ask her anything. She said, yeah, you probably don't want to get the fistula. I do something else. Because when it's in your arm, it has a tendency to have levels of infection and or your resistance in your body. And you begin to see knots and stuff protruding on people's arms. Generally, that might be what it is. They got a fistula in their arm. And every time they put the needle in, you have to break the skin to get into the vein, even though that there's the thing's hanging out of your arm. It's like, wow, okay, all right. So the doctors come and they're asking, so what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? You're gonna get the fistula in your arm and stuff? Is that generally what everybody got? I said, I keep hearing about this other thing called peritoneal. What is that? Oh, you have to go to a class for that. Okay. Big giant machine that you have. Gotta go through 2 weeks of class. understanding how to push the buttons, what's going on. I was really nervous. I had small kids. Didn't want them to push the buttons and then it'd be something else. Get the machine, go home, bring the kids in and say, hey, don't touch this.
Right.
Whatever, don't touch the machine, don't do nothing to it, you know. So you get these big giant bags of sugar ultimately. Different case sizes, strengths, you know. Cases, as tall as this window, you know what I'm saying? Get those, and I'm doing it at home. Finally get back to work. I go to the restroom sometimes, bring the boxes with me, hang the bag up, let it out from my stomach that's going through, take the tube, hook it up, and just waiting, doing it.
Yeah.
Trying to make it happen.
So what were you letting out?
No, the fluids. The fluids, the fluids are coming in to make sure that the sediment in your blood is still clean and fresh. So that's what it's trying to do, and it's pulling it out. So as it's pulling it out, it's just like going to the restroom with me, because you got a little thing hooked up. Just let it go into the commode.
So another bag, yeah.
And then from that, the other bag you have hanging, you got a gravity pump, so it comes to your stomach.
And then it comes out. So it's
Yeah. So it was an ordeal, to say the least. But I still, as I was going back and forth to the dialysis center, it got to the point when I first got there. As soon as you walk in, there's a scale that they have to weigh. I said, Mr. Barney, this is the very first thing. Mr. Barney? I said, yes. Why are you here? Well, I'm here to do dialysis.
Because you're only 40, right? Or 43, something like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You don't look like the typical dialysis patient. Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. I swear, that's what I said. Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. We go in, we actually go to the way, you go to your chair and you sit down, they put you all of these, it's like 40 something chairs that are in the room. And that's all you hear is that's all you hear.
Yeah.
You know, some people have their headphones and, reading books and stuff like that. Every time I would come, and got to the point, I was like, this is not my life. I'm just confessing to myself, this is not my life. 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 So I started praying for everybody. Like, this is not my life. This is not my life. The first time after doing that, you ever had a Charlie horse?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's how my entire body was filled.
Wow.
Just painful. Because they learning how much fluid to put on you and how much fluid to take off. So that's a learning process for them as they're doing it with you on the machines. And, okay. That first time, crazy thing. Okay, well, we just need to adjust and stuff. Just relax. Okay. I'm trying to relax. But everything is just tight. Just rock tight. God, this is crazy. I can't believe this. Same thing happened to my neck once. Just got in the groin area. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Is crazy. Yeah. Just the entire body.
Yeah.
It would happen. After that, we have on go through the process. The process is learning how to put the machines and stuff. Make sure the kids aren't touching the kids still. From that, I think I remember coming in the last time. So
Yeah.
from that, we go back down to the hospital, we sign paperwork that's necessary. I think January the 8th, got a brand new kid.
So now pause on that. 'Cause that was an amazing, fast-paced, situation which is happening to your life. A lot going on. I can imagine a mental, state of mind. What am I about to die? Was that ever a question?
Sitting right now, I would say I don't know. The reason why I say I don't know and I don't remember is because I'm walking in power of faith now.
Yeah.
I was walking in power of faith then, but my clarity of then has been a little washed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can only assume that I was nervous. I remember there was a young lady at the church. She came to me and she said, God told me this that you were going through is not to death, not to your death. I was like, what? I hadn't even thought about death. I just thought about the struggle to fight it.
Right.
But now she says this is not to your death. What? That kind of threw me in the tailspin. You know, because I'm an elder in the church.
So it never crossed your mind that, hey, I could die from this.
Yeah.
Right.
Death really, I'm gonna be
Was
wasn't on the table in my mind
Yeah.
until she said something. I'm struggling with it and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Having lungs around just, you know, the kidneys, they help to regulate your not only your blood flow, but your ability to have energy. So I recall once playing with my daughter in the room playing dolls and stuff like that, and I fell asleep because I couldn't keep myself awake. Playing with her, fall asleep, and I wake up and I said, did I fall asleep? She said, yeah, Daddy, but I just kept playing. Yeah, I just kept playing. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So different things definitely were happening, you know, as I fast forward through it, but they definitely happened. I recall me laying hands on myself, commanding healing, laying prostrate at the church on the floor, laying prostrate in my home.
Yeah.
You know, God heal me, bring forth healing. I command healing. I know I'm healed. Walking in that. And my faith was high. Because I'm speaking all this stuff to myself. But still battling. Still battling. And I'm catching blows. I feel like it today. Strong again, I'm catching blows. Damn, what's happening? And I recall being with a friend of mine. We went out to eat. And I'm ultimately man to man crying. He's like, what, man? Shut up. What? Shut up. He said, man, you alive. You alive. You walking in healing right now. You are healed. You walking in your healing. Because if you wasn't healed, you'd be dead.
Wow. Yeah.
It actually sunk in. I think it was in October. Right after that, that's when I got the call. So from that, the doctor said, okay, in January, we're setting it up. Like, what? So for me, soon as I came to the realization that I am healed, because if I weren't, I'd be dead. I'm healed. Every day I'm alive, I'm healed. I'm walking in that healing.
Yeah.
From that moment, I was like, whoa, okay, I'm good. Went too much longer, got the call, Mr. Money, would you like to have this kingdom? Yes, yeah. We come down there, and I remember sitting in the office, and she's like, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm going through my moment of anxiety, so I don't have to worry about doing it later. She's like, oh, okay. It's really strange. Went through that, we got the kidney, and I recall Rochelle explaining to me that when they took a moment to bring me out of the anesthesia, I couldn't wake up from the anesthesia. Like, okay, he should be out of the anesthesia by now. When I came out of the anesthesia, Rochelle was explaining to me that I was speaking in tongues. And the doctor's like, well, what's wrong?
What's wrong with him? What is he saying?
And she said,
He's just speaking in tongues. He's just praying. He's all right.
but of course I don't know.
She's like, oh, he was like, okay.
Then, but of course I don't know that, you know, she had to share that with me. I was like, for real? So, yeah, you know. So even in that unconscious state, God was still with me.
Yeah.
You know, still speaking to me. And me trying to speak to him. You know, so it's the ups and downs, true. You know, so I'm curious to know myself, if I could ask you a question.
Yeah.
What were you going through?
Yeah.
You know, how were you dealing with it?
The only way I dealt with it is through prayer. It's through prayer, because that's just my thing. I am a praying woman. So that's the only way I could deal with this. So like even when like we would go to the hospital, and it seemed like it went fast, but it really didn't go that fast. It was, you know, it was a process. But like I said, when he gets a headache, we know immediately we have to go to the emergency room, because if we don't go to the emergency room, it's only going to get worse. So when he we knew that, hey, he got a headache, let's go to emergency. When we got to Indiana, and we got there the first night, everybody was like, hey, we can see you, man. He woke up the next morning, he's sitting on the couch, I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, my head hurts. Okay, we already know we gotta go to the hospital. And he's like, well, let me go up here and take this blood pressure first. I'm like, okay. And then you're gonna get his blood pressure taken. And he's like, yeah, we gotta go straight to the hospital. We get it immediately to the hospital, and they immediately put him in intensive care. And intensive care in Indiana is like not like intensive care here. Because in intensive care here, I can go in the room, I can stay in the room, I can spend the night and stay. But in Indiana, you cannot stay in that room, and you cannot go to sleep. You can only be in there for so many hours, and then you have to leave, and then they'll let you come back. And then it was that part was kind of like stressful for me. First of all, we're in a different state. My mom is not there to take care of my kids. My kids is with his family, you know. And I'm just like, oh God, I don't know what to do. I can't stay at the hospital with him because they don't let you stay in intensive care. So then I'm like, oh my goodness. But just prayer. That's the only thing that got me through it. And I think I was telling him last time, is that even when at night, like he would be sleeping, the machine would be going. And I would wake up and I would just put my hand on him and then just begin to pray for him and begin to command those kidneys to function as God has created them to function, you know, and command healing in his body, command strength in his body, even for his psyche, you know, just to make sure that, you know, he's not thinking, you know, hey, maybe I can end it. No, you know, we got 4 kids and I need you here, you know. And so, but there was many nights, I mean, that I would wake up and I would have to pray. I would literally see the spirit of death. And I would have to pray, you can't stay here. You gotta go. Even when he was in the hospital getting the kidney, we weren't supposed to meet the donor because he was a live donor. We weren't supposed to meet the donor. And we had to be at the hospital at 3 a.m., 3:30. So we're sitting there and he falls asleep, but I'm still awake because I'm like, wait, let me make sure what's my surroundings, what's going on. And I saw the couple come in. And I heard the nurse come out and she asked for the call them by name. And then he goes, well, which one of us do you need? Because my wife is giving a kidney today. And I was like, note to self, right? So I'm still just acting like I'm not even, because I have my earphones in, listening to worship music. So I'm acting like I'm not, but I'm still listening. And then he's asleep. And then the wife and I made contact. And she said, are you getting a kidney today? And I said, no, my husband is. And she's like, oh, I think I'm his donor. And I was like, what? And it was her husband, and her mom. And it was just me and him. And I even saw the other young man walk in. He was a Hispanic young man. He's probably 18. I saw him walk in with his mom and dad, but he sat behind us. It was me and you like sitting like here, and then the other couple was over sitting over there with their mom. And then he sat in the chair behind us. But me and her, we just began to start talking. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe you're my husband's donor, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, I think so. So then they called her husband back, and then they came back and got her. And then it's like immediately there was a connection with her family because her mom showed up, or her dad showed up, her sister, her brother. I mean, it was like maybe 12 of them, and it was probably 6 of us. So my sister-in-law was there, my brother was there. And they were like, hey, how's Chris doing? Hey, how's this doing? Hey, how they're doing? Hey, have they come out of surgery yet? I'm like, yeah, you know, I mean, just immediately and ever since, I mean, like we kept in contact with them. Like we used to do like the 8th of every January that we would all get together for a family dinner, and then we would eat dinner, you know, but it was a journey. Like I said, it's not easy, and we sit here and talk about it like it was smooth sailing, but it was a fight. And when I tell every young person who is getting ready to get married, or, you know, I'm like, let me tell you this. One thing about this is marriage is not for the faint of heart. Marriage is not for the faint of heart. Because when you get up there and you say those vows and you do that commitment, you have to know that every last one of them will be tested. In sickness and in health. For richer or for poorer. To death do you part. You have to make sure that you are willing to walk through it. We didn't have to walk through the death, but I saw my father walk through the death with my mother. You know, they were married for 34 years when she was passing, and I saw him sit by her side, you know, till she took her last breath and was like, I can't do this. I can't do this, you know. So I mean, each and every one of those vows will be tested, but you have to know. Those of you who are getting ready to get married or thinking about getting married or thinking about making that commitment. Am I really wedded? Because it goes more beyond the wedding day.
Yeah.
It goes beyond the wedding dress, the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Because there's life after that. You have to be willing to work through step by step the life that comes after that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you made a great point, though. But
I was going to quickly just share this.
Oh, that was big show.
Yeah.
that was good.
The added piece in that is, I'm glad she didn't share the names of the donor and because they're not married anymore.
Yeah.
So they got married, divorced, and got remarried again. And the second time they got married, this moment happened. And now they're no longer together.
The kidney moment.
Yeah. So they came together just for that moment. I'm still asking God, what more do you want me to do? What you got me here for an added reason. For them to come together, and now they're divorced.
Yeah.
And she was the one who gave the kidney. What's happening here? What's going on?
Only God can understand.
Only
God. Yes.
Can
But he's been with you through the whole thing, God has. Because you talk about when you were 18, you heard his voice. You didn't know that you were going to go through this journey up. And you went through that journey, but even through that journey, God was still with you. With your doctor, you didn't know that he was going to be that doctor. But he was. He knew your situation. Had somebody else been on call, they probably would have searched, let me see his records. It got orchestrated to where he had that doctor on.
you know just that? You know. But since you said, can I turn to him? Is that all right?
Yes.
And just simply say, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all that you've prayed, everything that you've given out that I know and I don't know. Thank you for the kids that you've put into my life because I prayed about it. Thank you. Thank you. For real. If only you really knew how thankful and grateful I am for you in my life. Because I couldn't be where I am without you. Let me stop. Because it is real. It is.
Yeah.
It is. Woo. So that's what I would share with them. Yeah. Just that. Pull back for a moment. Get away from all the busy noise and focus. And in turn say thank you.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Right.
That was good. That was a good part. Yeah, for sure. Wow.
I don't have any more questions.
I'm done. She's like, you're gonna wreck
But no, but I thank you for being obedient and asking the question because it pulled that moment out. I think that was so genuine and real, and maybe it needed to happen, you know, and that was powerful. That was powerful. I think the word thank you, she and I talked about that before, is some of the two most powerful words that's just underutilized, right? With people, especially within couples. Forgiveness, right? It's connected to that forgiveness, right? Yeah. That's a whole other podcast. But man, thank you, team Morning Man, for sharing that story. And we're definitely excited about what God's going to continue to do together, man, because you guys have been going strong. You've been an amazing example of a powerful couple that's hungry for Christ. And as you've kind of laid before us today, that's trying to do it the way that God wants it to be done. And you've been a great example of doing it. Some of the best examples I think we even have know of that in our circle of people who just doing it the right way. I think you guys have seen the fruits of that in your lives, right? Through
and your kids are saying.
and the kids, right? So thank you guys, man. Wow, what another great episode of Couples Connect, man. We want to thank everyone for tuning in for this. We hope that it was a blessing. We hope that it was a blessing to you in your situation. If you're going through a sickness type situation, right? That whole piece about through sickness and health, if you're going through that, use this story that Team Born Event is laid before you today to know that if you can trust in God and trust in one another and pray for one another, that God can see you through this thing. So, man, we want to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Couples Connect with Kevin and Tanya. We hope that you guys continue to follow us, share it, put it out there, man. Let people that you know that might be going through a similar situation, share this story with them, man. They need to see this so they can know that God is real and he's still the same God yesterday and today and forevermore. Amen. And he can heal you just as he did my man Chris here. So, man, we thank you guys, man. Just come connect. And once again, man, peace.